Awesome. What is up, Facebook Live? It is Daniel Evers here. I hope it is not too echoey for you right now. I'm live here. I'm recording here. So if I look at two different cameras, just bear with me because we are getting ready to talk about the hottest market in 2019. I mean, literally where all the deals are happening, where all of the number one wholesalers are investing, where you're literally going to make more money than you've ever made and have the biggest change and impact on in your life. Literally. Guys, think about that. Think about if you could start doing deals in the market that's crushing it right now, right? Wouldn't that be awesome? Well, stay tuned because that is what I'm going to talk about here, okay? And for all of those of you who are on this camera, forgive me, I'm going to be bouncing back and forth, but okay, let's get into it, right? So this is the hottest market in 2019. Now, before I get into it, I want to tell you guys that 3 years ago, I was actually... I was trying to go to the next level, so to speak, in my real estate investing business. And I reached out to a friend who was doing really well in another location. And I said, hey man, it seems like you're killing it out there. It seems like you're absolutely crushing it, right? And I was like, does it make sense for me to start doing virtual deals there? And he's basically said back to me, he's like, well, what's wrong with your market? And I was like, man, I don't know. I just hit a threshold with my market. I think it's too tough. For those of you who don't know, I'm in the Chicago market, whatever have you, right? That's where I invest. That's where I do my deals, Chicago, Illinois. And he said this thing to me, and it literally changed my business from that day forward. Changed my business. If you're watching it, you know who you are. So this right here is the number one market. Let me show you. Hopefully you can read this. So cheesy, so corny, I know, totally, I get it. But it's your mind. Your mind is literally the number one market right now. Why? Because if you believe, right now in Chicago, they're literally producing document after document saying how terrible the Chicago market is, saying how many people have left, saying how the taxes have risen, saying how bad it is. And all people can think about is that the real estate market in Chicago is bad. Well, it's not for me. Right? It's not bad for me, right? In fact, 3 years ago when I thought it was bad, it was way better. Okay? So it's not bad in my market, even though they're producing on radio, on television, on Zillow. You're seeing all these articles about Chicago and how it's going down, right? Well, it's just not true. Why is it not true for me? It might be true for the next wholesaler. It might be true for the beginner, the newbie. It might be true for them or the novice, so to speak. But it's not true for me. Why? Because I'm a professional. Why? Because I'm full-time. Why? Because I get up and I get after it, okay? And you need to do the same thing. Doesn't matter if you live in a small town or a big metropolitan area. You need to get up and get after it. And if your town, if your location is truly bad, then become the big dog. Become the huge fish in a small pond. Because I can tell you right now, somebody is eating real good in your market. I like to say, wherever there's properties, there's money. So if you can drive down the street and you can see one house, two house, three house, and more houses on this other side of the block, there is money and business to be done, money to be made. Get yourself out of yourself. If you see a property, tell yourself, wow, there's money for me. There's another property. There's money for me. If you see people and they want to own homes, there's money for you. If you see investors, you see people building properties, you see people renovating properties, get out of your car, go knock on their door and say, are you looking for more business? Okay? So listen to me. I encourage everyone, if you're listening to this right now, I've listened to this book probably 2 times now. If you don't like a lot of swearing, which I don't, maybe fortify your ears a little bit, but I've listened to this book called Can't Hurt Me, and it's basically about David Goggins and his life and how he's just the ultimate mental warrior, right? Physical warrior, but also mental warrior. So that has continue to put me on that path and that journey of just doing whatever it takes, but really doing whatever it takes, okay? So number one, you guys, your mind is the number one hottest market. Doesn't matter. Let's say you got to move let's say you're in a hot market, right? And you've got to go move to a bad market. Don't tell yourself that market's terrible. You've already lost. You're already a loser if you tell yourself that market's bad. right? And if you're in a good market and you tell yourself the market's good because the market's good, okay, yes, the market may be good, but again, you should tell yourself the market's good because I'm here to do business, because I'm the one doing the most deals. I've got the biggest sellers list, I got the biggest buyers list, I got the most contracts. I'm doing it. Me and my company, my team, my network of people, right? So start fortifying your mind that wherever you are is where it's great. Not good, but great, okay? Here's the second thing. I'm gonna give you a physical location. I've basically already talked about this, but your backyard. Your local market. That's the hottest market, right? I'm kind of repeating myself here because I've talked about that with the first one, and the first one's the biggest, but your backyard is the best market. It's the number one market that you could be in. You know the area, right? You know where the grocery store is. You know where the gas station is. You know where the schools are. You know where the attractions are, right? Let's say you try to go virtual wholesale. I was watching the guys from All In, REI, Carlos, and I forgot the other guy's name, but they were talking about how virtual wholesaling isn't all what it's set out to be, right? It's not as pretty as it looks to be, right? And those guys are doing $6-7 million, something like that. So good for them. But my point is, like, your local market, you're already the expert. You're already the expert. You've got a notch up on the market. So in your backyard, don't tell yourself you're a newbie. You're not a newbie. You're not a newbie. You know where the houses are. You know where it's bad, right? In terms of the neighborhood. You know where it's okay. You know where it's amazing. There's super wealthy, rich people. You know these things. So you're already halfway there. The next thing you need to do is just pick up the phone and start talking to people. That's it. That's the only next step that you need to do. So guys, listen to me. Ladies, gentlemen, girls, boys, whoever, listen to me. The hottest market in 2019 is right here. Go get it done.